This is a story about my son Charlie and his biggest secret. Yes, he was a boy addicted to playing Fortnite and eating too many frubes, but that all stopped when he opened a door. I mean literally opened a door. So he was out on his bike to get some exercise. Yes, 8-year-old kids do need exercise. Anyway, he was out on his bike when he saw this weird floating door. It was just a normal door, but it was in the air. No walls, just floating in the air. At first, Charlie thought maybe it was some sort of prank, but there was no one else around. Now, most kids would be sensible and not do what he did, but he couldn't help it. He went in and was suddenly in some sort of other world. Yeah, I hear you. That could never happen. This isn't real. But it did happen, and I'll prove it to you. So there he was, stood in this strange mystical place, and then that's when he saw a flash of light. And then this odd-looking doctor appeared in front of him. He introduced himself as Dr. Strange, but I can assure you, this doctor was actually no stranger than Charlie's family doctor, Dr. Rhea. Dr. Strange asked if he'd like to meet some superheroes, and then he made another door appear. This time Charlie entered the door like his hungry cat enters his cat flap. It seemed like he was now in another world, but this world seemed spectacular. Charlie explored for a while, and then he saw this red metal man land from the sky. It was a shiny red robot guy who called himself Iron Man. He asked if Charlie wanted to try flying, and of course he said yes. They then flew up into the sky, into the clouds. It was incredible, but so cold. I mean like freezing cold. They landed back down, and this Iron Man suggested Charlie meet this guy called Captain America. Another door appeared, and then Charlie found himself talking to this American guy who looked a bit like that YouTuber Dan D. But unlike Dan D, this Captain America guy had muscles and a shield made from vibranium. Charlie learned that vibranium is the rarest metal on Earth, and this makes Captain America's shield indestructible. Captain America demonstrated some of his best fighting skills and even taught Charlie how to use his shield. Charlie thought the shield was like a boomerang, but apparently this isn't the case. Charlie thought it was pretty amazing to meet Captain America, but when he said Spider-Man was coming to meet him too, he couldn't believe it. In real life, Spider-Man is really quite scary. I mean, he doesn't show his face, and he is basically a big walking spider on 2 legs, but slightly less hairy. I say less hairy, but really I have no idea. He might actually be. At one point, Spider-Man let Charlie have a go with his web shooters. It was pretty cool. But Captain America wasn't a fan of them. When 2 more doors appeared, Charlie was a bit sad to go. And when he went in, his sadness quickly turned into dread. Had he opened the wrong door? What was it he was looking at? Charlie quickly jumped back, and to his amazement, he got to meet Thor, a hammer-wielding god associated with thunder and lightning. His hammer was so heavy that Charlie couldn't pick it up. And I bet you couldn't either. Thor wasn't as strong looking as you would have thought, and if anything, was probably more athletic. Thor explained to Charlie that they had to go on a mission. He didn't tell Charlie where they were going, but he said they needed to be brave. He said Charlie should have a superhero name, and Charlie suggested McMuscles. For some reason, Thor found this funny and just continued calling him Charlie. Thor then led Charlie to a tired-looking wooden shack. Charlie looked through the window and saw something he'll never forget. Thor smiled and stayed calm and confident, like you would expect from a god, but Charlie was scared. Thor whispered to him that the purple-skinned guy sat in the shack was in fact a mad titan called Thanos. This Thanos guy caught him looking through the window, and then Charlie's heart began to pound in his chest.